Commence primary ignition.
Hey guys, my name is Lauren Mary Kim. You may know me as the motion capture double for Ahsoka on Clone Wars Season 7. Be on the lookout for Summer of Snips on the Virtual Cantina Network.
Thank you, Lauren Mary Kim, as always.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome,
Hi,
Rebels.
guys.
Hello.
We have such a fun episode tonight. Hi, Dan. Welcome to what I'm calling Coffee with Rebels Revisited. I've got
Just
my...
a side note. Sorry to interrupt. We do have the issue with Facebook once again, so
of course.
we could get that. Just
Do you want-
well, I
Do
don't
you
know.
want
If
me to... What do you want me to try, Jeff? So, Dan,
Just-
this has happened on our most recent show. So for everyone on YouTube, you're getting almost like a little behind the scenes.
Yes.
Facebook would not load yesterday when we were live, and it's been
just
this
cut us off right after the video started. So
I wonder if it's like audio that they're recognizing as bespoke or something.
yeah, it seems
So,
weird though because it's all of a sudden. All right. But if you let's see, if you could share to the Facebook group, that would be ideal, and then we'll be good to go.
So what buttons do it? Tell me exactly what buttons to hit. Sorry, Dan.
Can't
It's
tell
all
from
good,
this side. You got to go into that share option, and then I get a different view, unfortunately, and choose the Facebook group, I believe, and then Spencer might be helping us out here shortly. But yeah, I've never done it on that side. I've only seen it.
I can edit the
by other
broadcast. I'm hitting the edit button, but
no, I think it's
yeah.
next to that.
Yeah, sorry, YouTube. You're getting a little behind the scenes tutorial over here. Yeah, Jason just texted me. He's like, "You're live on YouTube." I was like, "Yes, we are." By the way, we have a really exciting episode for everyone once we get rolling. We're watching
Yeah.
Twilight of the Apprentice Part 1. Which, how cool is that? One of the best episodes of the entire series. And we've got a special guest host with us today, Dan Zehr from Coffee with Kenobi. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Dan.
Hello. Great to see you all. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on the show.
Thank you for coming. I've known Dan since it's got to be like late 2014, early 2015, back from my days at Tops, going way, way back. And if anyone's heard me do any shows or podcasts or anything on this channel, I always talk about how Coffee with Kenobi was one of the first, if not the first. I'd have to really like dig through the old archives and figure it out. One of the first that I did at Tops to talk about trading cards and all that stuff. So thank you so much for launching my YouTube career.
Hey man, it's a pleasure. It's been great. One of the great things is about this wonderful community is getting to know people and becoming good friends with them. And you've always been so amazing and supportive of me and Coffee with Kenobi. And it's been great to see you grow in the Force in your area of fandom, not only with your job, but in your hobbies and passions too. So this is terrific.
Thank you. Yeah, I always use that quote, the one about the fans who become friends, the friends who become family, the family who become friends, like that circular thing that we're on of like friends, family, and fans all supporting each other. The Star Wars community is very that. We get a bad rap sometimes on YouTube because there are a couple of negative people who like to get big views with, videos that are just angry about Star Wars. And by the way, it turns out that's every fandom. You can't like anything. Because the mean people make the mean videos and get millions of views because just hate enrages and motivates people. But that's not how we
like
roll.
that. Everything's like that.
Yeah,
that's why you got to rise above. Choose the light.
Yes, and your show is always positive, always fun, always looking for the good and everything. And you have good guests too and fun stuff. So what's been going on Coffee with Kenobi? So catch everyone up of like, what have you been up to, and if you have anything interesting coming up soon.
Sure. Well, in early June, we took a number of listeners with me and Mouse Fan Travel on the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, the Halcyon.
Ooh, that's
So
awesome.
that was an incredibly fun experience. And then I've been working on some things this summer, some projects. We of course spent a lot of time this summer talking about Lucasfilm's other legendary character, Indiana Jones. We went through all of the films that we do I do 2 shows a week. On Tuesday nights, I have a live show
Mhm.
on Facebook and YouTube. You may have, you kind of
Mhm.
understand the concept of
Oh, I
that,
know
I
the one.
believe.
Yeah. Mostly
And
on
then
YouTube, sometimes on Facebook. We'll see when it goes.
we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. And then Thursdays is the regular podcast. And now I've kind of been taking a little bit of a time to explore Rise of the Red Blade, the new Delilah Dawson novel, which is terrific.
It's been getting a
We've
lot
got
of
some fun-
buzz.
Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite Star Wars novels. Truly,
Wow.
it's really if you want to see sort of what it's like to become an Inquisitor and kind of get lured into that and the process and what turns a Jedi to become an Inquisitor. It's just a fascinating read. And of course, we're going to get gearing up, as both of you, of course, know full well, to get ready for Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I have 2 thoughts here. So one, the Rise of the Red Blade. I've mentioned this to Ashley a few times. I don't think I would do well at the Jedi Academy. I think like week 2, someone would get on my nerves and I would like pop off an arm and I'd be straight onto the Barasafi blowing up the temple. You
Oh my
know,
gosh.
full Inquisitor hanging out with the Grand Inquisitor. We'd be on the run. So
But you
I
look
love that path
cool
for him.
with the lightsaber. You look
Oh
cool
yeah.
with the non Sith blade. I think
Yeah.
you're not an anarchist.
A lot's changed in 9 years. But
I think
um,
you'd be a great Jedi. I just you'd be a little bit like
Yeah.
half Qui-Gon, half Dooku.
yeah, like,
Just that
floating around
area.
with Ahsoka would be fun.
Kind of
Right.
But
kind of an elegant bad guy. I like it. I
yeah,
like it.
good stuff. I would
Class.
definitely have a double bladed red lightsaber though. Like those are the best, and I'm
Yeah.
excited
According
about the
to
new
Jeff,
one
we're on
coming.
Facebook now.
Oh, we're on Facebook. All right,
Yeah. Hi
excellent.
guys.
Yeah. We
Hello.
vamped a little yesterday, but we got into real stuff over here. So just to catch everyone real quick, hello, welcome. Thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook. We have a very special episode of Rebels Revisited tonight. We're watching Twilight of the Apprentice Part 1. And man, do we have a guest for you. This is Dan Zehr from Coffee with Kenobi. Apologies for the repetition on YouTube, but wanted to catch everyone up on Facebook. We're already deep in our conversation over here. Dan has just read and is reviewing Rise of the Red Blade. So we're talking about doing book club over here on the VCN. Like you're saying, this is a must read.
It's a must read. It's one of the best Star Wars novels I think that they've had.
Excellent.
Wow.
Delilah
Really.
Dawson is the
Delilah S. Dawson,
Yep.
who's of course wrote Phasma. Hey Liberty, what's up? Good to see you.
Thank you everyone for joining in. We'll be Jeff is monitoring the comments now that he has repaired the Facebook to YouTube tether, as it were.
Hello,
StreamYard's
Jennifer.
great, but we've had a couple problems getting to Facebook. And reminder to everyone to sign up on StreamYard so we can see. So where it says Facebook user, we see the hey guys, but we don't know who you are. So I'd love to. You can lurk if you like, but if you'd like to I recognized in the comments. Go to StreamYard/Facebook to connect so we can see who you are.
This is the way.
Yes. So you've got you said the Tuesday night live show and then the
Yes.
Thursday night proper podcast.
Correct.
You just read Rise of the Red Blades and you're gearing up for Ahsoka. Can you share a little bit about what's coming up on what is, we have the summer of Snips. What does the August of Snips look like for Dan Zehr?
Well, for Dan Zehr, we're going to be looking at we're going to be looking at different episodes because I get messages and text messages and calls a lot about, hey, I haven't seen Rebels. What do I need to know? What do I need to gear up for? Right? We got to check out the Virtual Cantina Network. That's your first homework assignment. And I'm a teacher, so I can give homework proper.
Love that.
There are certain specific episodes of Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, where Ahsoka is critical. And I think as you watch those, the other characters will kind of come to life. And I don't know. I don't have any background knowledge. I haven't seen any episodes, but it seems reasonable to me that they're going to do a great job of explaining who Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera, and everyone are on the Ahsoka Disney Plus live action series so that you have a pretty good idea of how it's all going to work. So my job is going to be to help everybody kind of get ready for that so they feel like they're in a comfortable place to enjoy what we all are so excited about.
Yeah, I hope that there isn't like a ton of air quotes required reading. Now, I've done the assignment. I feel like I'm an A plus student. Ashley and I are ready. Ashley is as big a Rebels fan as I am. So when we
Yes.
put this show together,
That's big.
it was
Yeah,
an
Rebels
easy,
is
easy,
great.
like, yeah, we knew we were gonna do it. And I know you love Rebels too.
I
Um,
would put Rebels above uh, a lot of the movies, a lot of Star Wars movies. Rebels is my
Yeah.
favorite thing Disney's ever done with Star Wars.
Thank you.
wow. I
Same.
want that.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that pull quote and we're gonna use it in front of every episode from now on.
let's do it.
Facts.
We feel the same way here. I mean, Ashley, that's Rebels and getting ready for Ahsoka. Like, have you been more excited about something in
I
Disney?
honestly don't think so. Like I think it started at Celebration last year. Like I had my Rebels inspired prints at the booth, and like Sunday afternoon, like people were coming to the table in droves and just pouring through the prints, and I'm like, what is going on? Like what's all the interest in this Rebel stuff? And this guy pulls out his phone and goes, "You didn't see the Ahsoka footage, did you?" And I'm like, "No." And he pulls out his phone and he's got like video of like Chopper rolling out on stage with Rosario and she's dancing next to him, and I'm like, "Oh my god, they're going there." So
Mm,
like ever since then, like I just you can see Hera walking from the back, you see Sabine in the mural. Like it's everything that we wanted like put in live action, and because it's Dave Filoni, like it's going to be respectful to the source material. I know it. So like I've told you, Mark, like hundreds of times, I don't think I've ever been more excited for the next phase of a
oh
Star Wars
yes.
project. So
And because it's Filoni too, so I trust Filoni implicitly. I'm sure he's going to cook up something really interesting for us. I also think, and Dan's seen enough of these, and he's also worked with Lucasfilm. I've been a licensee. We've experienced the swerves. Like we've been shown something, and
Mhm.
I always use
mhm.
Obi-Wan Kenobi as an example. We thought it was a story about Obi-Wan and Luke, and boy was it not. It was a story about
Yeah.
Leia. It was
Yep.
such a different thing. So I don't know what the twist is going to be in Ahsoka. Because
I
by the way, I'm no longer a storytelling licensee, so I get nothing. Like I get told like who an important character is, and it's Ahsoka and Sabine. Because for the products I'm making, I don't need to know the plot or anything. I'm not making trading cards or storybooks or anything. So I
Right.
Right.
really have no idea what's going to happen, and I kind of want to be surprised in a big way. I think they're
Oh,
going to
I
pull
avoid
something crazy off.
spoilers like the plague.
Yeah.
So yeah. By the way, there's something kind of magical about you hearing you say the word trading cards. It just brings me back to fun moments. I remember texting you from the Denny's event when they
Oh,
premiered those, and you were
yeah.
telling me about designing them.
Oh yes. So for anyone who's not aware, do yourself a favor and go on eBay. Denny's did this promotion for Solo: A Star Wars Story, which I
Yes.
love Solo.
Me
I'm
too.
really sad that it like didn't like it wasn't a gigantic hit because I do think like a series of solo films with Alden and um, oh my God, young Lando, Donald, who was just in the
Donald
news.
Glover.
Apparently, he's going to take over the show now, which is amazing.
That's what Variety is reported.
Yeah, I don't know what to believe right now. Obviously, everything's on strike, nothing's moving,
Right.
and we support the writers and the actors. So whatever becomes of that, I'm curious. But they announced that ages ago. But when Solo came out, we did this promotion with Denny's because they had like a plethora of like menu items for Solo: A Star Wars Story, and I never understood why. But we did trading cards that you could
Yeah.
buy at the Denny's. So I went to a local Denny's in Queens. We got on the bus, man, and like went to the Denny's and had dinner there. I ordered a salad. I was like, I can't eat anything on this menu. And I remember like getting a pack of cards, but I had to work on all of them. And Therm Scissor Punch, the guy with the like weird hands, was one of the characters in the cards. And I
Yes.
was like, whoever this creature is, he's gonna the breakout star of the movie without a doubt. So I have a small run of those cards. But let me tell you, the hologram ones, if you go on eBay, are selling for a fortune. I can't
I've
believe
got
it.
them all.
Yeah,
Got
it's
them all.
crazy.
Dude. Oh, that's great.
So yeah, I went to there was a Denny's release event for it's in California, and so they gave us. I've got the menu, the Denny's menu
Oh,
with the
that's
Star
awesome.
Wars stuff in it. I've got all the cards.
I've got
But
the
the
cups
reason,
right over there.
yeah, okay, yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Well, the reason they did is the proceeds they got they donated to feed the hungry and the
That's
Oh, that's
homeless.
right.
awesome.
There was
So
a
that was a
charity component to it.
really awesome reason for it, and you got some beautiful product out of it too.
Yeah, I completely forgot the charitable aspect of it now because that thing came together at
That's
such
why
the
I'm here,
last
Mark.
minute.
That's why I'm
See,
here.
you're good at remembering this stuff. We did so many weird things over my time at Tops. That wasn't the weirdest, but it made me like literally get on a bus and go to a Denny's. So like that happened. I was also at a Walmart for the midnight release of all the Force Awakens product because
Yes.
Tops had like those Galactic Connections trading discs that were being given away to the midnight people coming in. And I
Mhm.
got there and they were like, "Oh, would you like one?" And I was like, "Well, I should take one." But like I had people with me and I was like, "No one else take any because like I have buckets of these in my office. Like I want them to be for the giveaways and stuff." But it was
Right.
cool. Like there were balloons. You would have thought like it was New
Yeah.
Year's Eve at these Walmart stores. We drove out to some Walmart in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey. I think about it now and I was like, it must have been like a bad neighborhood too. But like it was like not a great Walmart, but it was you would never know. Like the Star Wars stuff was everywhere and it was awesome. So I miss that kind of stuff. Like
Oh,
when are we
Yeah.
gonna
great.
get back to like Denny's and midnight Walmart stuff? Like those were awesome times.
Oh, I will always treasure that because for the Rogue One promotional, I was in the Target commercial promoting the midnight release.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So how can you? I know you've probably talked about this a million times, and I'm sure I've heard it on one of your shows. But can you give everyone like the very top line on how that came together? Because you've been a fan forever. Like you've been in the
Oh yeah,
fandom for a long time.
since I was a kid, since I was 5.
Mhm.
No, I mean the very short version of the story. My wife says that I tell a very long version of the story, so I'll do the Cliff Notes, Spark Notes version, AI version, whatever the current cheater hack site is now.
The wiki version.
The
Yeah.
wiki version. Now, basically, they reached out to me and they said we want to celebrate people who celebrate their fandom in unique ways, and they asked if I knew anyone, and they gave an example. One of the examples was a teacher that uses Star Wars in their classroom, and I wrote back and I said, I know a teacher who does that, and that would be me. That led to several conversations, interviews with the directors. And then a few months went by, and then I got a call from Hollywood saying, we'd like to fly you and your wife out to California, and you're going to be in a commercial. Are you interested? And I remember saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 700. So, and
Nice.
it was an amazing experience. So it had over 5 million views on Facebook alone. It was really awesome.
That's incredible.
That's
Yeah, I
really
I
cool.
remember when that all happened. I was like, "Oh my god, Dan's on my television." Like that was a nationally run commercial. Like
Yeah,
it was everywhere.
it was cool.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. All right, so we are doing a watch along tonight. So we're going to continue to talk and we're going to continue to ask you questions, a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of just general life stuff, and we're going to talk about the episode. But we are going to start the episode in a couple minutes. It runs about 22 minutes, and then we'll have a little time at the end. We're just doing one tonight. Sometimes we do a double, and we always get ourselves in trouble because Ashley and I will talk at the beginning, and then all of a sudden we've got to squeeze in 2 episodes, and then you know how this goes. Like you're
Right.
on air way longer than we planned on keeping everyone. So everyone get your Disney Plus up and running. We're watching Twilight of the Apprentice, which is season two, the basically the finale, second from the
It's
finale.
do you need me to pull it up too, or will it be a pop up here?
You'll have to pull it up because if we put it in, we will get flagged.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So we'll give everyone time to open their Disney Plus and everything. We have a countdown. It the first countdowns we did before this were 5 seconds, and everyone would miss it, and it became this like giant thing. Where's my arrow? Ashley, do you want to lead everyone in the countdown? It's season two, episode 21.
Okay, we're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Alrighty, and we have a little timestamp there for everyone.
Yeah, comes in handy. Oh, so we're on the Phantom this time.
So we've been doing all the Ahsoka related episodes, as I mentioned, throughout the series. She's only in like 12 of them in Rebels. Most of her story still resides in the Clone Wars. And then, as Dan mentioned, there's a Mandalorian episode, there's a Book of Boba Fett episode. Ashley was actually on one of our other shows talking about Tales of the Jedi. So we're covering it all. I wish we would do a special presentation on the novel. Like that would be good as
Yeah.
well for everyone
Hmm.
to go through that. So something we're thinking about because we're less than a month away from the premiere of the show, which is wild.
I love this opening here. There's a very brief but very heartfelt exchange between Rex and Ahsoka. in a very short amount of dialogue, without a lot of exposition, it shows compassion, experience together, and legitimate like they have like a family connection. It's really lovely.
Yeah, the two of them are like the heart of the Clone Wars. And I was, we actually rewatched on May the 4th, which was a Thursday this year. The Thursday night watch along, we decided instead of watching A New Hope, we would watch the finale of the Clone Wars. So the season 7 Siege of Mandalore, which, if you remember, I was screaming for that for years and years. And I was like, give us Siege of Mandalore. It was very that. Chris Argyopoulos, I remember emailing him once and he's like, stop emailing me. um, so we watched that, and it ends with the two of them. Like it's their show. They're in the final moments. It's all about Ahsoka and Rex. I think we're going to see that play out in the Ahsoka show too. We're going to have to see them
I hope
reunite.
so.
I've certainly heard the rumors, but I don't trust any of that, right? Like there's a lot of fake stuff on Reddit, and now that you can AI anything, the stuff I've seen that just looks beyond fan made, but they're trying to pass it off as like some official image is just
Oh boy, I
yeah.
ignore everything.
Yeah, you
So
have to. You'll go crazy.
Yeah.
yeah.
I do think these episodes not only like stick the landing as far as a season finale goes, they really set the bar for what kind of storytelling you could do within this particular show. And I think even within the whole saga, like Twilight holds up among some of the best of all the Star Wars stories.
Oh, it's quintessential. The music in this, the lighting is really sharp for it's very difficult to do in animation, and everyone brings their A game with the performance. It got some pivotal stuff. Remember the slow burn reveal of when we all realized that Maul was going to be in this, and when
Hmm.
you can finally see him, you see the full tattoos, and everybody just lost their minds. It was
Oh
great.
yeah.
That was crazy. I want to say they like premiered that footage at a New York Comic Con or something.
They
There's
Oh,
did.
always
really?
like, yeah, there's always one of those places and it's on a big screen and people scream. Um, it was probably that same time they announced Sarah Michelle Gellar being part of the cast in season
Oh,
two.
yeah, that was at New York Comic Con.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we had Ashley at the booth that year to like sign. It was probably for the Topps digital trading cards to like, you know,
Yes,
that was a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing, but
it's
it
still a
is
thing.
still a thing. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
they had a booth at San Diego, and I swung by very quickly. Weirdly enough, one of their guys bought a De Nuo Novo Imperial officer uniform, and I was like,
Oh
"Did no
wow.
one tell you to call me?" I'm like, "There, how few." Former Tops employees are still working in the fandom. Like someone has my number, so I got to talk to him, and I was like, "Let me know in the future. We'll hook you guys up. Figure out how to do it."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, 2018. That's when I met Spencer at New York Comic Con,
And me.
and Ashley. That's right. Um, Small crazy world. It's the convention, the fandom. It really does bring people together.
Yes.
So what's next on your list of events, Dan? Are you going to any other conventions this summer, this fall, anything coming up?
Gen Con is coming up, and I know Christina Ariel is going to be there doing some Dungeons and Dragons stuff. But I don't really have anything on my immediate radar as a teacher in my day job. I'm getting ready to gear
Mhm.
up, get back to school.
Yep.
I know that Rancho Obi-Wan is going to have their annual gala in the fall, so that's a fun possibility too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I still have not been out to Rancho. It's been on my list for the
Oh my
longest
Oh,
gosh,
time.
it's
I
gorgeous.
know.
it's the best.
The
And I
It's
would
stuff
send
really
them
the best.
product too. I was like, I'd like to see some of the stuff I've sent you.
it is like literally like you see some like incredible like rare pieces and then you see like the most outlandish silly stuff. It is just like it runs the gamut of everything.
Agreed. Agreed.
Do you remember when Ezra picked up that crossblade lightsaber in like a trailer or something? I thought it
Yes.
was going to be so significant, and then
Yeah.
it was just nope, just thrown on the ground. I was like, "What? That's how Star Wars gets you." Like I was like, "It's going to be his new lightsaber. There's a
It's
reason for the
true.
cross handle." Yeah.
Well, it
And it
just
was
kinda it was a
blue.
nice tie into The Force Awakens.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Rebels
Now
does a good
apparently
job connecting to everything.
yeah. Apparently Ezra didn't learn about putting his hand out and what happens with that and how much trouble it gets them into. So,
Yeah, he learns some hard lessons in this, two-part finale.
Yet nothing really goes their way. Like they win, but at what cost, right? That's kind of the body count in this episode is tremendous.
It's
Um
significant.
and the number of actors who are here doing this gig is really, really
Oh,
impressive because we've
Mhm.
obviously got Freddie holding it down as Kanan. Ed Taylor always delivers as Ezra. Ashley is just amazing as Ahsoka as always. Sam Witwer coming back in, like we've been. It's funny, like there are times when it's like, oh man, are we really gonna just throw Maul into everything? And it's like, yes, please do. Like what
Mhm.
we say it at first, like maybe we don't need Maul there, and then he arrives, and it's like, well, Sam's gonna deliver the performance of a lifetime every time. So I was like, yes, put Maul in
facts.
everything. You know, yeah, this is an incredible reveal.
It's terrific, and even like the way Sam Witwer kind of is not underwhelming, but he underperforms as Maul. There's no growls. He makes himself sound old and feeble when, of course, he's anything but.
hmm
Yes.
I always think that Ezra is like a little naive, but at the same time, he knows he can't 100% trust this person, but he thinks that he can play him better than he's going to get played. And that's where the naivete comes in. Like he
Yeah.
knows not to trust Maul 100%, but he thinks that he could go just far enough to get what he needs. But ultimately, like Maul's going to win. You know, Maul's going to get the upper hand.
And Ezra's very altruistic. Like he wants to believe the best. He's got the best of intentions. He's got a good heart.
hmm
He's able to. The mystery is that I talked about this with my son because we rewatched it before I came on the show with the two of you, and we were talking about the fact that ultimately they didn't really do much with Ezra supposedly kind of flirting with the dark side, which is good,
Yeah, he's
but it kind of
tempted,
goes
but he
away.
he doesn't go too far. There are these like little moments here and there where he taps
Yeah.
into it and it gives him like a little bit of strength. But they don't push him all the way down. In season 3, when he like unlocks the Sith holocron and whatnot, like he's tapping into the dark side. But he doesn't like he kills a couple stormtroopers here and there, but it's
He tips
very
over a
minor.
scout walker, I believe, and
Yep.
makes it plummet a long way. Scout walkers don't fly. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's and also like Ezra, he's there to witness what happened with Obi-Wan and Maul, and ultimately how revenge cost Maul his life and
Yeah.
really wasted his life.
Yes,
And he didn't want that to be for him. I think it was like a very serious lesson that he learned in this.
agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah, Maul could have accomplished a lot more if he like just gave up on chasing down Obi-Wan. It's like, haven't you caused that man enough headaches? Like,
Yeah.
yes, he got you, you got him enough.
He
If
just
he had
causes more
abandoned
headaches for
ship on that,
himself.
yeah, that's the thing. Like Maul can't get out of his own way. It is interesting to see that his purpose for being here, though, on Malachor is that he's really trying to stop the Sith. Like, and
Right.
it's actually not an altruistic thing. He's just trying to get revenge on Palpatine. I don't think he cares about actually saving the universe or doing
No, no,
anything
no.
for the
Not
good
at all.
guys. It's all
Yeah.
100% self-serving.
He wants to use the holocron to find the location of Obi-Wan Kenobi and
Yeah.
destroy the Sith in the Empire because he feels, as he says later, I was taken from my mother's arms.
hmm
I was, my brother was killed. I was left for dead, abandoned. And so his hate for the Sith is legit, but I like all the little ominous, like, oh, that other guy's showing up. I love that stuff.
hmm Yeah, because we're given such a smorgasbord of amazing characters in part one, which, by the way, we're only watching part one, so don't. No one's gonna see Vader in this one, but the fact
No,
Sorry,
that
guys.
Vader pops in part two, and then not only is just like a cameo, which he's kind of done in other episodes. We see him for like 30 seconds, a minute. He's like barely in Rebels up to this point, and then he has a really incredible fight with Ahsoka, like the fight of fights,
yep.
was something I was not expecting at all.
Yeah.
Something people were so hungry for so many years.
Yeah.
The fact that
Knowing
he's even bothering to wear a cowl and no tunic is just like,
yeah.
It's great.
Oh, Maul. He's so dramatic. He's another one. The Sith are very dramatic.
yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
I love
Um,
Chopper like blasting off through the temple.
he's another hellion.
He's
Yes.
my favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ashley's obsessed with Chopper.
I
You two,
am. Oh
yeah.
my gosh. I have
As
my
he should
Galaxy's
be.
Edge chopper. I had a droid builder friend build a chopper crate, like just like in the show for his
Nice.
chopper droid. And he's like, I ran out of room. I don't really bring it anywhere. If anybody wants it, let me know. And I was like, please, I'll take it. and it's got shelves built into it, so I keep all my art supplies in
Oh,
there, and so
cool.
it's going to good use. And it's got the
Well,
kill counts and like bucket heads on the side.
wow.
It's so fun.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Thanks.
I don't know. You can't tell in this feed, but I've got the Galaxy's Edge shopper right there too.
Yes.
I love
I
that
think.
Chopper's the one that took down the eighth brother.
Oh, totally.
Yep.
Like, look at him. It's like a video game. He's just in there, like hitting the buttons.
Eighth brother and Marek in the new upcoming Ahsoka TV show uh, have a lot in common looks wise. Similar armor,
They
similar
do.
build, similar lightsaber. I don't think it's the same character. I do think that eighth brother dies in this episode or next
And
episode.
part two, he does.
Yeah. So, and he also like falls off a cliff, and I guess we never see a body. So it's Mace Windu all over again. But I do think it's a new
Mace is
character.
gone. You gotta
I
accept
I
it.
agree. I agree. I'm not one of those. By the way, no, I don't know if anyone's screaming for like Mace Windu to return. Sam Jackson, maybe. Like if you
Oh
told me
yeah.
that people were craving Sam Jackson, I would agree. But I
Yes.
don't think that anyone is saying they must have Mace. Like, is he
No.
anyone's favorite Jedi? I don't think so.
Um,
Um,
I think it's good for like there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, it's a Jedi like me for representation,"
That's
sure.
and
fair.
and
Yeah.
things like that. And the fact that he got like a completely different lightsaber because he broke all George's
Yeah.
rules is like
The
amazing.
purple lightsaber I can get behind.
That's
Um,
cool. Royalty, man. Purple's the
Yeah,
color of royalty.
exactly.
Spencer, of course, likes him. I Here's the thing: the fact that he became sort of a mini antagonist to Ahsoka with like one sentence in Clone Wars season 7. Everyone was like, "Nope, Mace is dead to us now. Stay dead out of that window."
Uh,
It's so funny how quickly the fandom turns on characters. That's all it took. I was like, "You were rude to Ahsoka. You are dead to us."
and there he goes doing the hand thing again and
Yeah,
getting in trouble.
yeah.
Jeez, Ezra, you learned nothing. I swear.
It's so
I
irritating that Maul doesn't even help here. But I think he's doing it on
Yeah.
purpose to see how strong Ezra is and what he's made of.
Oh,
for
totally.
sure.
He's definitely testing him.
Man,
I
I love that lightsaber too. I love Ezra's light. That first one, I like it
Yes.
so much
Oh my
more.
Blaster
gosh.
saber by
Wish
far
they'd
my
make it
favorite.
a legacy lightsaber of it for Galaxy's Edge.
Agreed. Mark sent me the toy version of it, and then
Yeah,
a friend of mine in New York sent me the NeoPixel version, like the metal one. And I'm like, I've never owned one before. How do I set this up? And it's just really heavy and metal, and oh, so good.
It would be a hefty lightsaber. It's got
Yeah,
twice as much metal as any other one,
true.
which for I think for a Padawan to learn, it would actually give you a lot of I think focus and discipline because you'd have to be very intentional with the way you swing it.
yeah,
Um, but no, I love that's my favorite lightsaber in all lightsabers. Like,
Wow.
yeah, full stop. The combination blaster, the fact that no one has done that before or since has actually annoyed me. I was like, now that we know it's capable or it's possible, like that capability exists, why isn't someone doing that? Like it's sort of crazy.
It is. It's so cool. Plus, the fun of that he can stun with it
Hmm.
because it was like an extra layer of protection for him as he was learning.
Yeah.
right,
And yeah, it's
exactly.
pretty cool.
And like having Maul's lightsaber like that is pretty crazy too. Like,
Oh yes, like a cane
yeah,
or more of a sheath, really.
yeah, gotta play that old man injured card.
Hmm.
That's right.
Oh, he's the best.
And
I
this
gotta
is
say,
when you start to see it. See, like then when it becomes more and more clear, and it's so obvious who he is, and remember again how exciting that was. It was just so
oh
good.
yeah. There have been so many great reveals in Rebels. One, Ahsoka as Fulcrum, I thought was amazing. The fact that Bale
That's
saves them at the end of the day. Um,
mhm.
the Ahsoka reveal, uh, the Darth Maul reveal, getting to see Obi-Wan Kenobi, seeing Luke, even though it's like just a shadow.
Yeah,
There are all these things. When Vader first premiered, yeah, when the Emperor shows up in season 4, Rebels knows how to do a reveal and they know how to tell a great story. Grand Admiral Thrawn was probably their best, I think, in terms of bringing a villain in and just making us love him. So I'm curious to see now what happens in the Ahsoka show. How do we treat Maul? How do we treat Thrawn in that show, and how does it line up with how we saw him in Rebels?
Yeah, especially since I don't think the creator of Thrawn Timothy Zahn has anything to do with Ahsoka.
They used him as a consultant,
Yes. Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
a little bit of guide work. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was in book
Hopefully.
form, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see the extent in which he
yeah,
had input because I know that it's really his baby, and it seems like Dave is building to like Heir of the Empire as a movie, like or some version thereof. Obviously, there's a lot that's different in you know the time period of that book versus where we are kind of now with the characters, but that's sort of core conflict. Um, I don't know if they're going to actually like get exactly to that, but it's trending that way, a little more toward what used to be EU. They're pulling it
yeah,
in.
This whole sequence here totally has Indiana Jones vibes with this leap of faith. And then later, once he captures the holocron and everything starts to shake, you almost expect Maul to say to Ezra, "Throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip."
yeah.
Exactly.
Seriously,
This is very, yeah, the opening of Temple of Doom for sure.
I know you hear your name
Ashley's cat is named Ahsoka. So you
Oh, that's
say it, and
awesome.
the cat gets summoned.
every time. Like we're on the show, she has to like come up and be like, "Hey,
Be a
what's going
part.
on?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good way to get likes and clicks.
yeah. I know.
Maul looks so good.
Yeah, he does.
He's
A-
amazing.
And he's smart too, like, because he could have killed Ezra right there, but, like,
Yeah,
he needs him. And I also think, like, I think Maul was legitimately interested in having an apprentice. He's
I
done
did
it a
too.
couple times now, and I think Ezra would have made a really interesting apprentice, right? Someone who's he's still a Jedi Padawan and he's still learning and a little bit naive, but like taps into the dark side relatively easily. Great connectivity with animals, which maybe Maul doesn't know yet, but like that'll come in handy. It seems to be his sort of secret sauce.
And I think it's almost it almost makes you wonder, was this something that he always had planned on the lookout, or was it just something about Ezra that just kind of awakened something inside of him?
Hmm.
You know, this is totally not 100% related to this scene, but did either of you, or are you considering backing that Ghost HasLab project?
Yes,
Oh, yes. Oh, man, Dan.
I'm
I
so
mean,
down.
I did a whole photo shoot with that ghost at San Diego Comic-Con. After I visited the mural, which I always say you
Oh,
have to visit and
I did see the
say a
photo
prayer.
shoot.
Yeah.
Yes.
You say your daily prayer. It's my church, which, by the way, I think it's a different one than the one from London. There's no way they shipped it over. I think they just built another one. It
I did
really,
Really?
too. I did too.
yeah.
I think the one in London was a fan one.
Was it?
This is
Oh,
one.
wow.
Oh, this might be the real one.
I think
Either way, I have photos in front of both, so whichever one turns out to be true. And I was able to touch the one in London, which is very exciting because I was there during build. But like this one, it looked a little smaller, but maybe it's because of the way it was set up in the pavilion. But yeah, it was a very Rebels heavy because of the Ahsoka experience
right.
feeling show, and the ghost being the reveal, just icing on the cake, right? Like
So
I
good.
it's beautiful. It's gigantic. And my husband texted me. Jason texted, and he's like, "It's 3 feet long by 2 feet wide. You're allowed to buy it." And I was like, "I don't remember asking for permission, but also thank you." So
Hey, yeah, that's
I
right.
was like,
Take it any way you can get it, man.
Yeah.
"Yeah." I was like, "Exactly." I was like, "Yes, thank you. I agree. Where are we gonna put it?" So that's the
It's
next
your
step
new
is finding
coffee
space.
table. I told you, just get an
Yeah,
acrylic case for it, put it right in there,
yeah,
start posing them all up, and you'll be fine. That's what I'm
yeah.
doing.
I like the idea of it functioning under a coffee table, like with a cover or something. You slide it out if you
Yeah.
want to play with it, and then slide it back in. I wouldn't want to put anything on top of it. But yeah,
But
it
if it's
needs to be something
acrylic,
like that.
you're good.
Yeah,
We need
I
more
gotta.
backers because we got to get to that Kanan level.
Yeah,
I think
Yes.
the
we're gonna
Zeb
hit
looks a
Ezra
little
without a
weird, but the
problem.
Kanan looks awesome.
I
I want
agree.
I want like doubles of all of them on cards so I can just like put them
Well,
in
you
the
can
ship.
buy up
But
to 5 ghosts. My son and I keep laughing about this limit of 5. I'm
Oh
like, oh
boy,
wow,
you, your wife, and the 3 kids. Perfect. It's
there
like it
you
was built
go.
for you. Yeah, done and
Ghosts for
done.
everyone.
Your wife would have a heart attack if
oh my
like five
gosh.
of them came in. Oh man.
That would
One
be
is probably good, and I get that there are probably some big toy reviewers who might want one like review sample sort of version, and then maybe they do a giveaway with a second one. You can imagine that being the case, but is anyone buying more than one?
flippers probably to sell them at their toy conventions and things like
There's
that. So
9,205. Thank you, Spencer. I was
Spencer is
wondering
on it.
how many we were up. I think you got to get to 10 for Ezra, right? Is it
It's
10
10 or
for Ezra
11.
and
Yeah.
12 for Kanan and
Yeah.
14 for? Is that right?
I
I
think
just
correct.
Zeb
got.
was like
Yeah.
17. His was a big jump. So I don't
Well,
know if we're gonna get to Zeb,
and
but
where's Chopper? Why
Chop's in
isn't
there, right?
Chopper? No,
Chop's in
it's
He's
there.
just his head.
Oh.
It's just his head. Not a full head. Not a full Chopper figure.
Okay, this might be a deep cut, Dan, but like the door coming up and Ezra seeing all the lightsabers flying at each other, one
Yeah.
is super chaotic and very Rebels because it's almost funny, even though it's like super serious what's happening. But it reminded me of the Clone Wars when Obi-Wan Kenobi sees the door come up on Mandalore and it's just all the Mandalorians shooting at each other. And it's
Mm.
become this like
yeah.
ongoing meme of like what 2020 was like every time a news event happened. It got a lot of traction on Twitter and stuff. So that scene always makes me laugh now because of those
I could
various
see that.
things. Yeah, it's
It's
so
such a
dumb.
terrific ending because what an amazing cliffhanger, and
Yep.
Maul just in his full-on chaos moment, just saying, "What fun! What fun!" He's so excited. He knows he can take care of these
Oh yeah.
Inquisitors like they're nothing. He
Mhm.
sees Lady Tano there. I love how he dressed her as that.
So
It's just like the ultimate ending to a WWE event or something.
it
It's
is.
so true.
It's
Yeah.
full chaos. Yeah, oh man, Lady Tano is just so rude.
The the
It's like
best.
she's a better Jedi than you. She made it further than you ever did.
Like literally every and in retrospect, obviously, because this came out before season 7 of Clone Wars, it feels like it honors that too. It's like kind of
Mhm.
giving them that slice of history without even knowing about it.
Mhm.
And it's just it's like respect that like it's almost sneering respect. Like you know he doesn't mean it. He's
Mhm.
just
It's
trying to get
brilliant.
under her skin. So
Yeah, and everyone got good screen time. Ezra and Maul's story is really compelling. Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka are a really interesting trio. You know, they're so different.
so
Um,
different.
Ahsoka was a Padawan and under Anakin, right? Like the Jedi of Jedis during the Clone Wars, served in the Clone Wars, went to the temple, studied under Yoda, knows Obi-Wan, really super disciplined, and then left on, after things went awry.
Right.
Kanan was thrown into battle as a little kid, studied the temple a little bit, but he says he barely like he says this in other episodes, he barely remembers Yoda. Like he doesn't have a lot of insight into like what Yoda was like. And then all of a sudden he's on the run when he's a Padawan because Order
Right.
66 happens when he's a kid. So not only was he like a child soldier, he was then on the run ever since. And then Ezra has barely been practicing for a year at this point with Kanan, who only recently just became knighted in the temple. He was never even knighted like for real in like the Jedi, the regular structure of school. It happened in the temple. So everyone's got their own different paths that they're on, and I find that
Right.
so fascinating. Like different ways of learning, different ways of teaching, which I'm sure you must use this in your lessons, right, Dan? Of like, you know, the Jedi code and the different
Oh yeah.
methods of teaching for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of different rich lessons in all of Star Wars that and Rebels is so full of it. I've usually at the end of the year I show a bunch of stuff of Mandalorian and make them do a bunch of essays where we analyze what we can learn from culture through these episodes. But it will be fun to put something together with Rebels because it's so good. But then I will find myself in this massive wormhole of just wanting to talk about Rebels the entire semester. And I want to give a shout out to Liberty, my good friend Liberty, who says that Ezra's staple gun lightsaber. I never thought of it that way.
Staple gun
Liberty,
lightsaber.
thank you. That is very clever.
That's amazing. Oh, there you go. Yep.
No, it's
Staple
true.
gun. That's amazing. Yeah, it's honestly my favorite lightsaber. It's that, and then I
The
love
dark
the
saber is
Grand
pretty great.
Inquisitor. Dark saber's amazing. Um, I like things with weird functionality, like the spinning. Like we saw the spinning lightsabers, which I know a lot of people had a problem with. Um, it was people thought that was really silly the way they were spinning it to like
They got all
fly or
upset.
whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, the way these people force jump, like it's already ridiculous. And I think it's actually something in Rebels they don't overuse. Like we saw it in the Clone Wars sometimes where it just looks like they're just flying around like that. It's kind of too much. They don't
Yeah, it's like
really overuse it in
goofy.
Rebels, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
definitely.
It's Star Wars. We don't
Yeah.
want reality.
Exactly.
No,
Somebody asked how long do we have to back the ghost? I think it's September 8th or 9th.
So it's 37 days, 2 hours, and 18 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
but who's counting
But
really?
who's counting?
Just
I had left,
average.
Every
apparently.
single one of us with the
Yeah, seriously.
if the
Like,
Yeah,
number
I'm
goes
so
up
just
by
I
never
am.
one,
counting
we
it.
can take credit.
Oh,
Um,
Spencer, September 19th. Cool. Thanks,
Cool.
man.
Yeah.
Perfect. Um, yeah, I thought Star Wars had a really excellent San Diego Comic Con considering everything
Oh,
was going.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the pavilion was really busy. They had good licensee representation there. The Ahsoka, I guess, setup. Like the exhibit was really nice, and people were taking pictures. The mural was definitely a winner.
Yeah.
People love that mural. They need to bring that everywhere. Like they should just send it to New York
Yeah.
Comic Con,
Yes,
honestly, and
please.
figure out how it gets displayed somewhere. Because by then the show will be over. But I'm sure they'll have the next thing to promote, whether it's like Skeleton Crew, if that's still going to happen this year. Who
It's
knows?
happening. Yeah.
I don't believe it. I think that with the strike,
Yeah?
like if you can't promote
Oh,
the show, there's no point of putting it on air.
true.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's really tricky for them, especially because Star Wars really needs a win. I think if Ahsoka's a giant hit, actually I think it goes both ways. If Ahsoka's a flop, they will pull back. If Ahsoka's a hit, they may still pull back, and that's what's so interesting. I think that they're going to need
Mm.
to figure out what happens with Skeleton Crew because I think that show needs promotion. We need to know who's in it, what it's about. It needs to reach a broader audience, especially if it's going to be about kids. And you can't land those messages without having the cast and everyone out there. Like the YouTubers can only do so much. We have so much Ahsoka content to pull from that we've created a whole summer around Clone Wars, Rebels, her other appearances. We're ready. We're like counting down to the show because we think we know what we're gonna get. We at least know the characters we're gonna get. I don't know what the hell's happening in Skeleton Crew. Dan, do you have any clue as to like what Skeleton Crew is gonna be about? I
I
got
saw an
nothing.
extended trailer of it, at Celebration, and I mean, just think, the idea I'm getting is think of the atmosphere or the environment of Goonies,
Hmm.
Right.
right, and the fun of that, and Jude Law is a potential Jedi, at least in the trailer, he uses the Force.
Is that
Um,
confirmed that he's
well, I mean, they haven't confirmed he's a Jedi or not, but he absolutely uses the Force in the trailer.
okay? That
Oh.
I
I
don't
saw it with
remember
my own
hearing.
eyes.
Okay. All
So,
right. See, I was
yeah,
not in any panels. I was busy working the booth. I got
yes. Well, so that was it looks terrific. It looks like it's got a really cool atmosphere. The cast is very energetic, and I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, the Amblin-esque Star Wars. Yeah,
yeah.
Spencer's on it. Love it.
Oh yeah.
But
No,
that's
I've heard Goonies as the reference. It's just I can't do anything with that. Like I can't even have like a pre-show to speculate or you know.
no. It's I don't know what to. Yeah, I think it's going to be very unique, which I think is good. Whenever you can
Mhm.
take a familiar sandbox like Star Wars and freshen it up, I think you're going to have something great.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. With that in mind, as we think about what's coming, so we've got the Acolyte, we've got Skeleton Crew. There'll be another season of Andor. What did you love most about Star Wars in 2022 or 2023, and what are you most looking
Mhm.
forward to upcoming project wise?
I think I love Obi-Wan Kenobi the most.
Yes.
And I didn't know that I would. I mean, I knew I would like it just because, hello, Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan. But it actually
Right.
made me like the character more than I already did, and I always liked him. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously, my podcast is named Coffee with Kenobi,
Yep.
Right.
but I just was really moved by his relationship with, young Leia, and, I think it made Darth Vader work in the context of that series without watering down anything that happens later. And I
Exactly.
thought that was great, but what I'm most looking forward to is Ahsoka. I
Hmm.
mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is it. Everything else is gravy. I want more Ahsoka, and I'm really looking forward to the third season of Bad Batch because I thought season 2 of the Bad Batch I actually like season 2 of the Bad Batch more than I like season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Oh, interesting.
Agreed. Like I think like the Purgle showing up and
Yeah.
Zeb showing up, those were and obviously Paul's son Hyung Lee got his chance to shine in that episode as Carson Diva. Um, but having those little things kind of helped it along, but it wasn't really like as good as Kenobi. Like I think Kenobi
No.
injected a lot of heart and having um the loss, like the big loss at the end of Bad Batch season 2. Like
Mm,
I was a little bit behind and they're like, "Oh, have you watched Bad Batch yet?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, I'm getting there. I'm getting there."
Oh,
And then I finally watched it and I came on the following week and I'm like, "You guys, why did you do
mhm.
that to me?"
I was like, Ashley, I need you to catch up now, please. Because here's the thing, I didn't really like Bad Batch
Yeah.
season one. I'll be honest, and I, you know me, I'm Mr. Positivity over here. Like, I will only talk about the stuff I like. If there's something I don't
Yeah.
like, I usually just ignore it or move on to the next. And Bad Batch season one, I watched sort of out of obligation. And Ashley and I are both big animation proponents. So I was like, I got to give this a chance, and it just didn't land for me. And so when season two is coming
sure.
along, I was like, I will watch out of obligation and see if there's anything that requires, a Rebels connection that we need to talk about. And then I really liked it. Every week I tuned in and I was like,
Yeah.
Bad Batch season two is great. This is like a completely different show. I am in. And then they announced that it's ending. And I felt like the rug was literally pulled out of me and I hit my head and I was like, we've got one more season left. They better
At
stick
least
the
they're
damn
giving us
landing.
that. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I loved Bad Batch season two. My favorite part of, I think, as I look back now on the various shows we've seen, it's hard to top Andor. For me, that was like that's been my favorite. It beat out Obi-Wan for me. It beat out Book of Boba Fett. It beat out Bad Batch season two. They're all just different flavors, though, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't compare Obi-Wan to Andor to Bad
No.
Batch. They're
No.
completely different experiences.
Yeah, all unique in their own way and all have
Mhm.
a different in many ways they all have a different audience, which is sometimes throws people, but that's the reality of it. And
Yeah,
I think I mean Marvel obviously does that too, but I like that. I
yeah,
wasn't sure at first if I liked it because at the end of the day I like watching Star Wars with my kids, the older boys, um they're old enough that it doesn't matter, but my youngest is now 10.
hmm
And so I didn't watch Andor with him because it was too much for that
yeah.
age group. So I selfishly like it more when it's a little bit more kid centric. But as an adult fan, I thought Andor was terrific.
Yeah. I fell in love with Deirdre Miro, and boy, did they do me dirty once it turned out she was just as bad as everyone else. And I knew it. I saw it coming. I knew it. But at the same time, I was rooting for her. And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I made a terrible mistake, which is exactly the point. So
That's
the
Yeah.
great.
show does these things where it gives you the cognitive dissonance. And it's like they're picking on her
Ooh,
because she's a woman. And it
good
turns out, oh,
word.
she's just a terrible woman. But it's like this, it's
It's a
so smart.
conscious like a,
Yeah.
a conscience check. Like, okay,
Yeah.
where do you lie? Where's your loyalties? And then it's just like, okay.
I know. I also appreciate though, like how effective they are. It's like, oh, look at them strip away their rights with just a PowerPoint. Man, these people are awesome, and in
It
the
was
worst
great.
way, right? Like they're just amazing villains because that's
Awesome
how like
cadets.
government
Yeah.
functions, right? So
And
I
Deirdre
love
was
their.
cool. I got to interview her on the show and
Oh,
she was
wow.
insanely personable and funny and like completely the opposite of her character.
Yeah, I've heard that she's amazing. She's
Yes.
on my list of like must meet people. Her and
Between her and Genevieve, like,
oh yeah,
Mark
oh,
is, like, the hugest Mon
I
Mothma
got to
fan.
talk with Genevieve too. I had her on the
oh,
show too.
Oh my
oh,
goodness,
I got to
that's
go back and listen
awesome.
to these episodes now. All right, so Dan,
Yes,
we've
you
had
do.
on a few really interesting guests in the past few weeks as well. Vanessa
Yes.
Marshall came on the show, which was
Yes.
awesome. We had Philip Anthony Rodriguez, who played the fifth brother. We had Keone Young, who of course is Commander Sato. Um, we just had on Julie Dolan, who plays Princess Leia, and we had Taylor Gray, of course, who's Ezra.
Yes.
So we've
Yes.
had a nice little run until now. Obviously, everyone's on strike, so obviously we're going to move. We were planning on doing more interviews. We're going to push those off. Tell us who's been on your show because oh man, you've landed
Yeah,
some like big names.
huge.
Uh Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Anthony Daniels, the
So
entire
no,
cast
so
of
no one
Rebels.
big, no one who's on the
No,
posters or
Ashley's been
anything.
on a couple times. Um, Eunice Suetamo.
Oh, I love
Uh,
Jonas.
love
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
it's been
amazing.
cool. I've had Mark Von Olen on. It's been a while, but
That's right.
he was a big
Wow.
get. Yeah.
I I have a very full dance card, and I will only be on when I get top billing, so Mark Hamill can be nowhere near. So
That's fair. And I need to have Ashley on, but it's really hard to get in touch with her people.
Aw.
um,
Yeah,
we're
that
we're
sounds
very
fun.
lucky, I gotta say, to be in this fandom and to be a part of it, and
Yeah.
to be in like literally be in the same sentence as like Jonas and Mark and the Rebels crew, we all get to do this stuff together, which is what I really like about it. And
Great.
and I gotta say, no one, I don't think I have a transactional relationship with anyone in Star Wars. Like, no one's calling me up saying, "I'll do your show if you do my show," or "I'll come do this for you if you send me a helmet," or "Can you send me costumes and maybe I'll give you a write up." No one's doing that. No one's playing that game.
No.
So people are just genuinely nice. Like the swag thing, I find really interesting because I was at a con once and people were talking about swag, and I was like, "Oh, they've got all these patches. Can I buy some from you?" And they're like, "No, no, no. I made like hundreds of these to give out for free." And I was like, "Oh, you spent your own money to create this bespoke item to give to people to bring joy. Like that's amazing."
It's very cool, and everybody gets a souvenir, and
Yeah,
you have this. You keep it forever.
yeah.
It's awesome.
We've got some big swag trading on our channel as well, of course.
Yeah,
So we'll have to
definitely.
send you a little swag bag for visiting the show.
I love
Um,
it.
yeah, we while we're a few minutes to end, and I know I don't want to keep you over. Do you have anything you need to plug? Anything coming up? What should we tune in for? When's the next Coffee with Kenobi?
Yes, well, I thank you again, by the way. It's cool to see the comments are like the best part about
Yeah.
these.
Yes.
So seeing Spencer, Liberty, and Sherry and Sarah and everybody, just thank you so much because you're the pulse that makes this thing go. But tomorrow night I have a live show at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We always do top fives to get everybody fully sort of invested, and they have their own little assignments they do. And tomorrow we're going to do our top five HasLab wish list. If
Oh.
money and budgeting was no
Oh,
object, and you could send out
dang.
a, oh, I wish Hasbro would make this,
Hmm.
what would your top five be? And you can find those on coffeewithkenobi.com
Oh.
slash live. And then later this week, I'm going to have my conversation with Delilah Dawson about
Oh.
Rise of the Red Blade.
Yay.
Oh
Oh my God, I'm
wow.
excited about
That's
that one. I
awesome.
love Delilah. I got to meet her a few years ago and she was just absolutely lovely and funny. And she's a phenomenal writer and she really gets the characters she writes about. And
Agreed.
just I
Absolutely.
can't wait to hear your conversation with her. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, where can we find your podcast?
Yeah. You can find Coffee with Kenobi on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Spreaker, Google Podcasts, YouTube, anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can find it. Coffee with Kenobi's all over social media,
Mhm.
TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or whatever it's called this week,
Yeah,
Facebook, all that stuff.
kill me. I
X
gotta
marks
get
the
off of Twitter.
spot.
It was.
Yeah,
Ugh.
everyone says that, but until we do a mass exodus, it's not
I
going to
know.
happen.
We tried. We went to Hive, and then everyone stopped. The
Well, it's
entire Star
too
Wars
private. They're
fandom.
not opening the doors to everybody.
I know. Well, you know
It's
what
like you need
happened?
two people to open that Sith door to make it happen.
It's true. It's true. I'm gonna will it.
Spencer. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
do you remember though? I can't with X. I really can't. And by the way, Twitter was my platform. I loved it. It was my favorite one. I
Same.
used it for everything.
Yeah.
It's like super. It was super quick. Like everything about it was perfect. And then it all went to hell. We all decided. I think the world decided to go from Twitter to either Blue Sky or Mastodon. And of course, Star Wars fans, being Star Wars fans, were like, we found something better. We're all going to Hive. And so every major Star Wars fan
Or
site had a Hive
threads.
account that like very next week, and I signed up, and then I tune in and I'm just sitting there just looking for content, waiting for people to post stuff. No one did a damn thing with it. So
True.
everyone abandoned ship on Hive. Good job,
True.
guys. Good job. I just want to scream at the fandom like it's really their fault.
Right.
But now I think we're gonna try to go to threads now. So
Yep. I'm on there and Blue Sky too. We'll
yeah.
see.
Oh Jesus, it's too much. I can't. There's 75 channels. It used to be I just say follow me on Twitter. Now I have to care about my Instagram, and which means I have to
Yeah.
look good in photos. I have to comb my hair. It's a disaster, Dan. It's a
You do,
disaster.
shush.
Hey,
I hate it.
you do great.
Yeah. I'm trying. But anyway, we're at our time. But for us this week, we have a couple things. So obviously, tune into Dan tomorrow night for the live show.
Don't
I
miss
want to throw
it.
something on there real quick, like Malachor. If we could do a HasLab Malachor, bam, full scale, include all the figures. I want presents. I want like the spot where like Ahsoka and Vader fight. We just watched Twilight. Bring the whole damn planet to life. There we
Yeah.
go.
I want a
Um,
HasLab chopper, like life size.
Ooh,
yep.
1-1
But
scale.
Yeah.
yes,
One to
but
one scale.
obviously like a really cool toy and like you press the button and his head just kind of goes like this and the
Ooh,
arms come out.
I love
Like
that.
I need that in my life. So
Yes, you do.
we're gonna throw this. We'll add that into the chat, and then Thursday you've got your conversation with Delilah Dawson. So very
Yes.
exciting. We also have a busy week on the VCN. So this week we just had our episode of Rebels Revisited for Twilight Apprentice Part One. Obviously next Monday we'll do Part Two. In the meantime, tomorrow is our digital happy hour, which starts at 6 p.m. Eastern and runs through 9 p.m. Eastern. Definitely tune in. Tomorrow night's going to be an important night to tune into happy hour. We've
Right.
got a special surprise happening, so please everyone come in. Wednesday, Ashley, do you want to tell everyone what's happening on Wednesday?
All right. Wednesday, we finally get our producer back after many moons. Mark is back in the producer's chair for our Mon Mothma episode of Daughters of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll
Mhm.
be fine.
She'll help
Um,
guard the galaxy too.
yeah, she'll help guard the
Yeah,
galaxy. And my friend and co-host Jamie, we cannot wait to discuss her. Like she is we see her as more of a figurehead in the OT, and she's become so much more in Kenobi. Sorry, Andor, and we just can't wait to talk about it. It's gonna be
I
fun.
bet you Jamie has a stack of notes this thick. That
She
show's going to
does.
go 7 hours
Oh yeah,
long.
it's
So,
happening,
so
and I'm
strap in
adding to it.
Wednesday.
So
Wednesday at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m.
Not
Eastern,
Pennies. I have to ask because
6
it's
p.m.
been a minute.
Pacific. Yes.
Um, and then Thursday, the watch along, we're doing Clone Wars and we're doing the Ilum arc to make you cry a little bit more. Pour one out for Ilum. Great
Oh
Ahsoka episodes. We get to see the building of the lightsabers, and Hu Yang is in that episode. So we
yes.
will see him prominently, I think, in the Ahsoka live action show, voiced by the amazing David Tennant. And then this weekend, we've got another Jedi Archives, which is that the one that you're on, Ashley, where we talk about the
Yeah. So it's episode 2 of the Ahsoka arc, and Tales of the Jedi, and
excellent.
it's a little short episode. You know, we just discuss next in line of the Ahsoka episodes, but it's a lot
Perfect.
of fun, and I enjoyed being on with the guys. So make
It's
sure you
nice.
check it out.
We're sending our hosts all over the place, Dan. We're
Yes.
cross pollinating our network, which is very
Wise. I
exciting.
love it.
It's a lot of fun. I like when people come and visit. And then last note on here. Yesterday we did a special presentation about summer vacation 2024. Tickets go on sale in December, but obviously like lots more will be announced. So go back and watch that if you have any questions about the vacation. We're taking California by storm from Los Angeles to Anaheim all the way up to San Francisco. It's
Right.
going to be a lot of fun. Spencer will be your tour guide. We've got autograph signings along the way, special events, private events, meet and greets, Hal Henkel. Like we got it all. It's going to be a ton of fun. So yeah, it's going to be a really exciting week on the network. And then we are mere weeks away from Ahsoka. So that's it for tonight. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
This really
Dan.
means a lot to me because, like I said, you were one of the first people to put me on a show, and I appreciate that so much.
Hey, it's my absolute pleasure. Thank you both so much for being such amazing and accommodating hosts. And thanks everybody for joining us. I had an absolute wonderful time.
Excellent. You're invited back whenever you like, and
Yeah,
at some point, I'm going to
absolutely.
come visit you on the Coffee with Kenobi show. It's been a
Please
minute.
do. You're
Yeah.
both welcome.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. I'm excited.
All right. Well, Dan,
Thank
we
you.
always close with "May the Force be with you." Do you want to send it out to the Rebels Revisited universe?
Absolutely. Rebels Revisited Universe, may the force be with you.
Bye, guys.